It should it should have been Uno dos tres, but never mind. And there we go, everyone. We are back again for another fantastic conversation on Friday Night Counter Attack. And this week you are in for a treat because we are doing I'd say it's our finale, isn't it? It's our trilogy. It's our trilogy, I would say, of The Streets Will Never Forget. But we're going to Asia for this one. And we're going to change it a bit for this one because for those of you who do know what we're talking about, we've done 2 episodes of The Streets Will Never Forget, African edition and South American edition. But because it's Asia, and we have obviously my favorite Asian media person besides me, I can't say his number 2 on the list, but he's my favorite.
I'll take it. I'll take number 2.
It's Mr. Daniyal Khan because it's actually in professional media in football. I'm just here on Friday Night Counter Attack and other places as well. Find them on YouTube, which is great. But Daniyal Khan, are you ready for? Actually, no, I'm getting too ahead of myself. I'm too gassed for this draft. First of all, how are you? Congratulations on your recent gigs. It's good to see you. And yeah, I will hype you up a bit. Working with Luton Town, working with the Premier League, working with Arsenal as you always do as well. Great things have happened, and the fact that we recently met as well at Wembley, that was a really good meeting as well. So it's good to hear you back on the podcast. It's good to see you again, my friend. How are you doing? Let the people know.
Yeah, I'm good, brother. Thank you very much. Just moving and shaking. Obviously, made my Saturday social debut, my Premier League debut. But I would rank meeting you outside Wembley along those achievements as well as something that was high up there for me. So that's it, bro. Moving and shaking, and looking forward to 2024 with more opportunities and more vibes. Obviously, for the culture, it was a great opportunity to interview Ranveer Singh and like do a little walk and talk with him. So yeah, combining like my culture with my love of football for the Premier League was a big moment for me. And more to come, bro. More to come. That's it.
Definitely. I mean, I gave you a food recommendation outside Villa Park when you went to the game, but I knew because Arsenal lost, I wasn't sure if you were still going to go. So, like,
Mate,
if you ever go back to Birmingham, I've got a few spots for you if you need to
sure.
be introduced to them, which would be good fun
Sure,
indeed.
you're gonna have to take me, but yeah, as you know, as soon as we didn't get the 3 points, I was out of there,
No,
out of there.
I know the feeling. Nothing. You don't want to do anything regarding content or chatting to anyone. Just let me go home. That's how it goes, my friend. But yeah, honestly, like I'll get Friday Night Counter Attack to pick up the bill when we next speak. We'll call it customer expenses, which is really
Perfect. Business expenses, I love it.
it needs to be done, my friend. But no, really good to have you on. Really good to see you, like I said, at Wembley, and especially really good to see how well you're doing in the football media world, which is fantastic. And here's to a very successful 2024 and potentially seeing each other further down the line as well this summer. Wink,
Absolutely.
wink, nudge, nudge.
Absolutely.
Needs to be done. But yeah, before I got all gassed up and I did a whole Stormzy on Capital One thing of mumbling and waffling like I did earlier. Sorry, Stormzy. We're going to do our trilogy. So what we did last season was quite fun, actually. We did a five-a-side Streets Will Never Forget South American edition, where Mr. Khan rightly called me out for putting Kaká in the Streets Will Never Forget edition. As he's not Streets Will Never Forget, he's the Ballon d'Or winner.
Embarrassing.
I did it for the W. That's all I did it for. So I was like, I was too gassed to have Mr. Daniyal Khan on the podcast. I was like, I need to show him some love, but I need to make sure I win this draft. But I think by default, we may call that one a tie. Then we had our African edition, Streets Will Never Forget African edition, where you had Kanu in your team as well. And the African Cup of Nations is happening in January alongside the Asia Cup as well. So a lot of people are leaving their domestic clubs as well, which would be a great topic of conversation to come later down the line. I know again, I think you won that one personally. I really like my team, but I think you've got a very good one as well. And the fact you shared with me your story about your teacher, about Kanu having the paper of Kanu.
Yeah, Mr. Bardi, he loved it. And yeah, that for me, like that was I never forget it. Like that's the first time I heard about that headline. And then obviously for years when they show Kanu's goal and the commentator says it, I always go back to that moment. So yeah, man, heritage.
You need to remember as well, like Kanu's won an FA Cup with Portsmouth as well, which was crazy, and you're still
Against Cardiff 2007, I remember. Was it
crazy.
2007 or 2008?
2008, because they
yeah.
beat Man United on road to it as well, which
Yeah.
was not great at all. But yeah, for our finale of our trilogies of The Streets Will Never Forget, we're scrapping The Streets Will Never Forget because we are representing Asia for this one as well. And full disclaimer alert, if you think Australia and New Zealand are Asian players, you are mistaken. They are done. They are gone out here. If they want to play in the Asia Cup, that's fine according to FIFA as well. But realistically speaking, I'm not going to put Miles Jedinak or Mark Viduka as Asian players. It won't make sense to me
Yeah.
at all. And a bit more freedom as well. So there's not going to be a limit in terms of what countries you can pick. It's free for all, my friend. So if you want to go for all Omani players or if you want to go for all Qatari players, choice is yours. I'm very happy for that. More along, so what the vibe for this one is one, the vibe for whole 2024. If we're not finishing our podcast laughing and having a good time with one another, then it doesn't matter. Like we're here to go through some throwback names, some players who are playing really good football now as well, and trying to make sure that we can show off our football knowledge in the meantime, which is good fun as well. Five-a-side wild card. Obviously, I'm the host with the most, so I'm always going to let our guests choose their wild card. So if you had to go anywhere, did you do the Illuminati sign? What was that?
I have no idea what that was, I'll be honest.
I
I've
thought
just been like my energy has been so pumped into getting into this draft that I have no explanation for what just happened there, I'll be honest.
my energy is just not there. Like as people know, we make our list beforehand as well, and I'm just like, nah, there's no list, so I have no clue who I'm going for. I'm not even sure some of these countries are actually
Oh,
Asian as
sorry,
well.
sorry. Disclaimer as well. I don't have a list either.
That's fine.
We're
That
we're
that's
about
how
we're
that's how we're rocking and rolling for
we're
this
about to
one.
go vibe for vibe. And I tell you, can we swear on this?
Yeah, you can swear.
When you said we're scrapping the streets, we'll never forget. You done fucked up. You done fucked up, Chief. I'm coming for you, Chief. I'm
There'll,
ready.
there'll be some picks on this list where I'm just looking like, why the hell did I not think of him? But
I'm ready. I'm ready.
we're ready for it. So without further ado, everyone, be sure to play along at home. Be sure to send us in your all-time streets we'll never forget slash non-streets. Well, everyone will know these. Asian five-a-side of all time, which should be good fun. And yeah, let's crack on, Mr. Khan. So you can go wherever you want in the pitch. For this one, we're playing on the high rises of Tokyo. We're playing in that Fast and Furious vibe pitch as well. I actually went there as well in
That
Japan in
is
2016.
crazy.
I didn't get to play. My cousins were like, let's just go see it. I'm like, that's cool. Do you have a football? No. Okay, let's just go see it. We saw it, but it didn't look good as the aerial footage that we saw on Fast and Furious and you see on Instagram as well.
I
But
love it though. I love it though.
when you get to host the Asia Cup in Japan further down the line, you'll be able to play on it as well. You'll be
Mate.
playing with some legends as well. And which legend are you picking, first of all, Mr. Khan?
So I'm starting at the back because I'm not aware of too many goalkeepers, and I want to get that out of the way because I can fight you for others.
No,
But
don't do this.
I'm
Don't
going
do
for
this to me.
I'm going for a man whose skincare routine is very underrated. I met
Ooh.
him. I met him in Qatar at the World Cup, and he was a kind gentleman. We shared a little sweet treat together, courtesy of FIFA. We
What
spoke
was it?
for
What was it? What was it?
what was it? I think I had like a chocolate kind of pot thing, and he had like a strawberry kind of situation. I
Oh,
remember,
nice.
yeah. Yeah. So and it was great to chat to him. He was a great vibe. He signed some goalkeeper gloves for a few up and coming goalkeepers. His name is Ali Al Habzi.
My boy. I mean,
That's
he was my numero uno between the sticks, so I'm very happy that you gone for him as well. But
I love Ali Al Habzi. I think a great keeper. Really enjoyed his time at Wigan. And I want to know, was he in that FA Cup winning team, or
I think he was.
was that Kirkland or Al Habzi?
I think it was Al Habsi.
Yeah, well, there we go then. FA Cup winner.
Mm.
Yeah,
FA Cup
so
winner, the first Omani to win it as well, which was crazy. Well,
certified legend.
the fact with Al Habsi as well is he still did what did he do? He still went to play for Al Hilal as well before they
Yeah,
actually became famous and won the
yeah,
Saudi champions as well in
yeah,
2019, which goes to show how long his career went, which
yeah.
is crazy. But without Habsi, before we get on to my goalkeeper, do you see how recently he played in a charity game for Palestine FC as well, and he saved the penalty?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Ah, yeah, it's very cool. So basically, Ali Al Habsi was part of a initiative in Qatar where Palestine were raising money for charity in Palestine and Qatar. And Ali Al Habsi was one of the superstar players. And just like you said, he had a bit of a strawberry thing when he met you, but in reality, like he was so sweet in goal, it's like he should still be playing as well, which is great to
Oh,
see. So
let's go, wordsmith. Yeah, so I've got Ali Al Habsi in goal. I think he's a top, and I'll be very impressed if you find me a better keeper from the region than him.
no, it's not happening. It's not happening. But I'm gonna go for a keeper who I think is quite comfortable for me to go for as well. Realistically speaking, I'm not gonna go for Matt Ryan because he's Australian, and Australians are not going to be ones for me as well, respectively. So I'm gonna go for a goalkeeper who I just like his name. I think his name's very cool, and the fact that he played at the World Cup for Japan is very very cool to see him go through his way. And I'm gonna go for Gonda. Gonda's my goalkeeper for Japan. And realistically speaking, we don't see many Asian goalkeepers in Europe, and I really wanted to see more of him going forward. But seeing him in the World Cup, it's like when you see what's his name, Ochoa in the World Cup. You don't watch him at like Shoax, or you don't see him at like um Club Monterrey or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see him
yeah.
once
You
every
just
four
see you're
years.
spot on. Ochoa is probably the best example of that in the
Mm.
world. Yeah, like once every 4 years, he's like, well, like, which big club's gonna sign him? And then he goes and plays for Real Sociedad or Valencia or something.
It's
So
something
what?
random like that. And it's like the backup keeper and he doesn't play, but he's always first choice for Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, incredible keeper.
It's true. But yeah, Gonda for me, he was the Asian Cup winner in 2011 for Japan as well. He represented Japan 38 times for his country, but he always played abroad as well. So he always played in Tokyo, played for Shimizu, Pulse, and Sagan Tosu as well. Clubs I've never heard of before today. Well, I know about FC Tokyo, but that's all I can say really. But I just like the fact he was at the World Cup with Japan as well. And you can see why I've gone for a team of just any nation possible. So I'm very happy with who I've got there as well, which
Yeah,
is good fun. Right then,
amazing.
it's a free for all now, so you can play whatever positions you want. You can play four strikers if you want, Mr. Card. We're in Tokyo. We're playing on the high rises.
No,
We've
I
got
think I'm gonna keep it. I think I'm gonna keep it balanced. I think I'm definitely gonna
balance.
have. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna have a defender in there before I go buck wild. But for me, let me just think, just in case I've missed out someone from this list that maybe I could have in. Should I do it? Should I just do it just to be glamorous?
Let's hear it.
Should I go for Kim Min Jae?
How
Oh,
dare you?
go on then.
How dare you?
Do you
I
know what?
I thought you're gonna go closer to home for this one.
No, so I was gonna go for Maya Yoshida, but I loved him
Have
as.
you really forgotten who you got at Arsenal?
Oh, Tommy
Yeah, not going for your boy.
Takahiro. Oh,
Did you forget? Don't do this to me. Come on now.
yeah, no, that is ridiculous. Wait, have I? Should I? Nah, yeah, sorry. Wait, but is it ethical for me to like come with my idea and then you tell me who I forgot and then I jump ship?
Jump
I
ship,
have.
jump ship
I
if you want. I'll take Tomoyasu, but I'm like
wait. No, no,
I can't take your boy off you. Do you know what I
no, no.
mean?
Do I have to take the L or can I take my boy Tommy?
Take him if you want.
All right,
Is yours for the taking? I
all
was
right.
like, you can't go for Southampton's Mayo Yoshida. Come on now.
I'm taking my. I've ruined my credibility, but I'm going for Takahiro Tomiyasu.
Oh, what a player! I really
Yeah,
like him. I think he's a fantastic
he's
player.
dynamic, super fit. So five-a-side, we've got him. He's got great height on him. Um, no, not amazing on the ball, but super great in the tackle. So I reckon I could just leave him in that back line and he'll take care of the rest.
No, that's excellent. That's a really good one to go for as well. In the back for me, I want to go for him. No, I'm not going to go for him. I'm not. Yeah, I'm going to be shameless for this one and go for Kim Min Jae. I was going to go for Sun Ji Hai, but
You
I was like,
clap. Wait, so you took my guy?
yeah,
All right, cool. So we're 1-1.
It was a bit of 4D chess
Now
there. So I
listen,
was like,
we're 1-1. We're 1-1 on the credibility ruined meter.
we need to talk about Kim Min Jae though, but the fact that he came literally out of nowhere at Napoli last season, played for them for one season and won the league, and now is at Bayern Munich, absolutely smashing it. Dare I say the first choice centre back at Bayern Munich now. Is there more of a ceiling for him? Because he reminds me a bit when Thiago Silva broke onto the scene at AC Milan. We didn't see him out of nowhere. He was like 24, 25 when he came into the Serie A. And he looked like he'd been playing there forever. And now we're
Yeah.
seeing him at Bayern Munich, and you're just like, he's one of the best defenders, centre backs in Europe, and he's got class personified all around him from what I'm seeing as well. But can we see
But
more from Kim Min Jae? What do you think?
has he been? It was a bit rocky at the beginning at Bayern.
Mm.
It was a bit rocky at the beginning. Is he still in the lineup?
Yeah, we're still in the
He's still,
lineup.
well, now Bayern are well and truly cooking. So, it's kind of one of those where um he's like found his rhythm. And I think moving to a team like Bayern that is they're quite structured. I think they leave their front line to do something a little bit more dynamic. Like Leroy Sané seems to have at certain points, he seems to have this trigger where he's allowed to go and have a free roam while Harry Kane kind of drops a little deeper. But from the midfield back, they seem to have a very clear structure of how they want to play, which is very similar to, I guess, defending for an Italian outfit. So yeah, Kim Min Jae, great player, and I would be very surprised if he was, well, he's already playing for one of the top five clubs in the world, but I'd be surprised if somehow a Premier League giant didn't like break the bank for him further on in his career.
Yeah, Man United were linked with him this summer, but they didn't even activate the release clause as well.
Mate, who were you not linked with?
Exactly. We're linked with literally everyone, and we don't get the right players that we actually need. And it's just terrible right now, especially when it's coming up to January and you're like, Timo Werner, yeah?
Yeah,
Number 9. Don't mind
yeah.
him at all. Don't mind him at all. Daniyal Marlon swap for Sancho. Half of his
Um,
value. Not a
yeah.
fan. Not a fan. But yeah, Kim and Jay, you had one season, I think, at Fenerbahce, then one season at Napoli, then there's at Bayern Munich. And what I realized, I didn't realize before, I'm not going to pretend like I did research, but what I realized was in South Korea as well, they have university football as well as part of their semi-professional development, which is quite,
Okay, it's like an American sports system.
yeah. So that he was doing that, and I was like, that's really cool to see. So it's like when you're seeing how they actually develop, and that's why they come over to Europe so late, because they then start peaking at like 25, 26, but they develop
Right.
at 23 and 24. So when you see like Wonder Kids, like when we see Wonder Kids, for example, we'll see them from Africa or North America, South America, of course, and Europe. We'll normally see them at 18, 19 years old. But when it comes when you oh, I'm doing the Stormzy again, blabbering around. When you think about it with Asian players, do we ever see them when they're coming in so young, or do we always see them around mid-20s, late 20s? Because
I think,
I
but
can't think of many.
I think particularly for on in like the Far East, I
Mm,
think um there there seems to be less of an obsession with like getting to Europe as soon as they can. Kind of like when
mm,
you look at South America, well, Brazil in particular, for them it's all about like they're happy to get signed up by a European club at 15 and then join them at 18. So there's almost like a hit factory there. Far East Asia, even though there's been some iconic players, some major world class talent that has played, there still doesn't seem to almost be like a conveyor belt that converts, because I think the Asian players, they play domestically as well, but also I think they spread out to a lot more lesser known leagues as well. I'm guessing because most people are looking for the next best European talents, and then kind of the Asian talents, unless they're like jaw-droppingly good, then a lot of these clubs don't seem to have networks in place to kind of spot the talent before they become fire. So
it's only now we're seeing that at Celtic when they're buying like 3, 4 different
yeah, they've got
Japanese
four.
players as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so you're going for Kim Min Jae at the back. I've got Tomiyasu. So next, I'm actually going to go for. I'm going to play. I'm going to have two in midfield and then one up top.
Oh,
So I'm going to have two creators. So the first one I'm going for, I'm deploying her on the left. I'm going for Derby County's Kira Rai. I think
jeez.
she's a groundbreaker in terms of South Asian football, but also
Mm.
women in football. She's been playing amazingly for Derby County, and I think last season she was double digits in assists. She got a few goals as well, but a real flair, a real point of inspiration, a real leader of the Derby County women's team. And I think, if Derby get it right and try and approach things not how the men's team or not how the men's team has been run, if they can take things in their own direction in their own right, I don't think it's too far off them breaking into the WSL and establishing themselves. And it'd be amazing to see Kira Rai play at the top level. And if Derby don't get there, I tip I tip someone like Villa. I tip someone like maybe a Leicester, even though they've gone down. I still think they've got a great outfit in the women's championship. But I think a team of that caliber, maybe even Liverpool, new up trying to establish things. I think Kira Rai would be a great fit for them. So she goes into my team absolutely.
She still hasn't. She's delayed me for 2 years coming onto the podcast. She keeps saying, "Oh yeah, I'll join. I'll join." Hasn't
Mm.
joined yet. So Kira, when you're
She's too busy turning into a world class baller.
she's so sick. Like whenever she posts the highlights, I'm like, this is groundbreaking stuff, and it's great to
Yeah.
see. And the fact that she does so much for women in sport, let alone Asian women in sport as well. It's great to see what she's actually doing as well. You've actually guilt tripped me here now, Mr. Khan, because I had a few women's players in mind, but they don't make my team. Annoyingly, Annoyingly, one of them I'm good friends with as well, and I'm just like, actually, she won't listen to this bit, but sorry, Millie, you're not getting into this podcast, into my draft as well. You may get into Mr. Khan's one, but in midfield for me, I'm going for a player who is of Pakistani heritage,
Oh
and
no, don't, man.
come on now,
Has he got the same surname as me?
no.
All right, good.
You're okay. You're okay. But yeah, we're going for someone who came through the Manchester United academy system, and I was very lucky to watch his debut live in person against Young Boys in a 1-1 draw. But to see
Zizou.
going for Zizou, we're going for the man who broke so many barriers just by stepping on the pitch at Old Trafford wearing a Manchester United shirt. He had a few games for Manchester United. Unfortunately, then got sold to Utrecht, I think, in
Utrecht, yeah, in Eredivisie, yeah.
Utrecht. Yeah, I need to pronounce that probably. Utrecht. And he's now getting some first team appearances, which is great to see. And I'm going to have to go for Iraq and Pakistani international, who also grew up in Manchester. Zidane Iqbal
Yeah,
is my midfield.
so for me, I think it was really disappointing to see him leave United, and it was almost like they let him go for so cheap as well, and you just wonder what happened behind the scenes. Like, was there an opportunity for him to go out on loan to a championship club to get some experience, and then before making that decision? But I think who knows why he thought a permanent move was good for him. Maybe he thought that he was getting so prominent on the international stage for his country that he needed to also back that up with regular first team football.
I
And
agree.
you know, when the dust settles and your head cools down, joining a team like Utrecht in the top division of Dutch football and going away to FC Twente, Feyenoord, Ajax, PSV, like you know, there's worse leagues for you to play in and get experience in, but I'd love to see him back in the Premier League. Not well, firstly, if he's good enough, I'd love to see him back. If he develops and he's capable of playing at the top level in England, I would love for it. Just from a representation perspective as well. I always said that if Zidane Iqbal became a regular at Man United would become my second team. Like I always said that, like just watching Zidane Iqbal, watching a guy like that with a name like that score in the Premier League would be a dream for me, genuinely. And I link it almost to Hamz when he lifted the FA Cup. Like it was just a dream. Like just to hear someone's name like that linked with a trophy like that. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know how cool it will be though to see Zidane Iqbal in the Asia Cup representing Iraq? Because in their group stage, you've got Indonesia, they've got Japan, and they've got Vietnam
Yeah,
as
so
well.
for me, man, obviously, you know, he's got just as much prerogative to join Iraq as he got to Pakistan. I wish he joined Pakistan though,
Do
man.
you know how cold that lineup would be for Pakistan as well?
Oh,
That'd be
bro,
sick.
I really feel like that would have been a star signing. Like
He
genuinely,
would have been your poster boy, no
yeah,
doubt about it.
that would have been crazy. But listen, all the best to him. Good luck to Iraq, just not when they're facing
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
That's good. But yeah, that was my I'd say a wild card pick for this one as well. So Zidane Iqbal is making my team on this one as well. Don't break my heart here, Mr. Khan. Where are you going as your second creative spark? There's so many to choose from, but don't do this one to me. Don't do this one to me. Where are we going for your fourth pick?
So I've got Tommy at the back. I've got oh, wow, his name is completely thrown out of my head. Ali Al Habsi.
Mm,
I've got Kira right. I need someone on the right now. And I'm trying to think about where do I weigh this up? Like I could because I could very much right now choose to blow you out of the water.
mm,
Like my next two picks, if I decide to do that, there's nothing that you can come back at me with.
it's true.
But I do want to pay homage. I do want to represent. We've got one second. Is my cat trying to get in? My cat is trying to get in, and the laundry basket is blocking the window. Bear with me.
No, that's all good. So in terms of how many people you can go for, there's so many from who did so well in the World Cups as well. You're looking at South Korea, who did amazing. Iran's done amazing in the World Cup. Japan, of course, have done very good. China, once upon a time, qualified for the World Cup. Saudi Arabia, forgetting about that in 2022, winning against Argentina. There's so many cult heroes you can go for. But where are we going? Where are you and your cat going for this one, Daniel?
So I am going for. Oh, there's so many to choose from, but I really want to go for Otis Khan, who is Pakistan's star boy, obviously at
Also
Grit.
rejected me for an interview on this podcast.
Listen,
Former
he'll be
Walsall
there. He'll,
players.
he'll be there. Don't worry. Don't worry. He'll be on there soon. But yeah, Grimsby Town player, moving and
Used to play
shaking.
for Walsall as well.
Yeah.
When I was working at Walsall, he was there, and I was like, "This is crazy." Two brown
And
people at Walsall. I love it.
yeah, man, I thought that would be amazing. And I think him committing to Pakistan was a huge thing for us, someone that's come up through the football pyramid. So I was gonna go for Azmoun from Roma.
Wow,
I was gonna go for
what a
Azmoun,
shout!
but I'm gonna go for my heart and I'm gonna choose Otis Khan from Pakistan, our star boy. So we've got Kira
Nice.
Rai on the left, Otis on the right, Tommy holding it down in at centre back, and then Ali Habsi in defence. I've got one more, but I'll leave it over to you for the next one.
I've got.
You see though, I'm playing nice though, right? I could have blown you out of the water with three
I'm
names.
playing nice by giving you every first
Now
pick. Remember that.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know.
It's one of those memes as well when you're seeing someone just like they're ready to spike it in volleyball, and you're just like, nah, I'll just tuck it lightly. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. For me personally, if I have to go for a player who I've really enjoyed watching over the years, someone who's got a bit of class about him, a bit of sauce about him as well. Never really like, yeah, I would say so. I'd say I based my hairstyle on his once upon a time because it was socially acceptable to see how he played as well. I'm going for a Man United midfield for this one as well. But am I gonna go? Yeah, I'm gonna go for him. I can't not go for him. It's Jason Park. I'm gonna go for
Of
Jason Park.
course, you're so boring.
It
Of
was
course.
boring, but I know who you. I know who you got.
I thought you were gonna say Shinji Kagawa just to kind of spin it.
It was Kagawa Park, but I'm like Zidane, but I need a bit of variety in there as
Yeah,
well. But with Jason Park as well, it's like remember 2002 World Cup. He was one of the youngest players in that team, and they got to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals or semifinals?
I think it was semi South Korea against Italy. No.
Yeah, they got to they beat Italy, and then it was what Germ is Turkey versus South Korea. You're right,
Mm.
in that one as well. So yeah, Ji-sung Park for me again boring. His hair bouncing when he was playing wasn't boring at all. Well, for me, one of the most underrated footballers I've seen at Manchester United, and the fact that nowadays you're seeing wingers play like Ji-sung Park in terms of tracking back, in terms of pressing, in terms of stopping the attack going forward. He scored a goal at every single World Cup he participated in, so I think that's quite cool for the South Korean culture as well. And the fact that for me, again, I'm going to always be biased and go for Park Ji-sung as one of my favorite Asian players of all time. But what I wanted to ask you as well, when you were an Arsenal fan growing up and you saw Ji-sung Park on the team sheet and you knew he scored against you, were you ever worried about him, or were you just like it's not going to happen this time? And then it did happen again.
All the time, because Fergie used to deploy Park Ji-sung in all the big games, and he
Mm.
was almost like the Joker in the pack, where he didn't have a set role. His role was to disrupt us in any way he could, and his role was, as you said, like pressing and like breaking our momentum and allowing space, forcing a mistake, and allowing the likes of Ronaldo and Rooney and Tevez to like capitalize in a big way. Park Ji-sung is super underrated. My friend Manvi, by far his favorite player of all time, like in the history of football, is Park Ji-sung. And yeah, man, it was always, well, obviously you guys used to batter us so much during that period. If we used to get a draw at some point, I used to be like, you know, counting my lucky stars. So um top class player, very underappreciated. But he's adored by United fans, and I think that means the most to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he scored 19 Premier League goals in 154 appearances for Manchester United, 21 assists, but he won the Premier League 4 times. Unfortunately, he was left out the squad for the
Champions League.
2008 final in Moscow against Chelsea. So that wasn't
Which was a mistake. Well, you won it in the end, but
we won it, but he was critical in the two Barcelona games as well because he kept an eye on Iniesta in the games as well, which is crazy. And Xavi was also quite critical in that game as well, which is crazy to see. But everyone always remembers Ji-sung Park for his role against Andrea Pirlo in the 2010 Champions League, round of 16, I think it was actually when Pirlo very famously said he just would not leave me alone. He would not get off my toes at all, and he would not let me play. He said in his autobiography as well, a bit of a plug for his autobiography, good book actually. He was like he just wouldn't leave me alone. He was like, oh, if I went to go to the bathroom, he'd probably be there following me as well, which is crazy to see. So when you're looking at players like Ji-sung Park and how they actually came about, it's a really shrewd signing by Sir Alex Ferguson from PSV Eindhoven for around £4 million. But again, a cult hero for a lot of Manchester United fans, very big cult hero for me as well. But when you're looking at some of the players who actually played with him and they appreciated what he did, and for me, he was a groundbreaker in terms of Asian footballers in the Premier League. We didn't see many of them at the time. I mentioned Sun Ji-hai from China who played at Everton and Man City, but he was one of them. Inamoto was another one of them as well. I believe he played at Arsenal and Fulham respectively. But Ji-sung Park was the one who actually came over from PSV after having a fantastic World Cup in 2002 to actually become one of Man United's cult heroes, I would say. And again, fantastic player, could score any type of goal. And realistically speaking, I allowed my hair to grow as big as Ji-sung Park's because I quite enjoyed it. And it's quite funny that people would call me Free Lung Hamz in the playground. So I'll happily stick to that nickname for me as well, which is great
Amazing.
fun.
Amazing. For me, the final piece to my South Asian five-a-side puzzle is, I'd say, undisputed, the biggest female footballer on the planet.
Ooh,
A FIFA cover star alongside Kylian Mbappe.
ooh,
Carried the hopes of her country on her shoulders despite being injured at the last Women's World Cup, and
insane.
came up with clutch moments. She is the reason that Arsenal and Jonas Eideveld have struggled to get a hold on a WSL title.
She is the reason why Man United lost the FA Cup final last season as well in the
She
WSL FA
she has
Cup.
scored ridiculous goals from the halfway line, volleys, headers. She scored clutch goals. She's ripped defenses to part. Her name is Samantha Kerr.
Tell them like it is. Tell the people what Samantha Kerr is about, man, because people don't appreciate her as well. Like she came into the semi-final of the World Cup last year, or this last time I should say, injured, and she was still playing fantastic football,
She scored an
threatening all over the
incredible goal
pitch.
against England. She scored an
Mm.
incredible goal against England. Hit an absolute rocket. And I think the thing about her is that she's just got the X factor. She's got that elite mentality. She's got that, like, I don't want to mirror it, and I don't want to like almost compare by saying, oh, she's like the Mbappe of women's football. Well, what I mean by that is she's a silent and deadly killer. So you've
Mm.
got players like Ronaldinho that when they pick up the ball, there's always something happening. With Sam Kerr, or with players like Mbappe and Sam Kerr, they're like silent predators, and then in a split second they explode and end up doing something that shifts the whole trajectory of the game. And they do it time and time again. And she's done it on the biggest stages, and her trophy cabinet is a joke. So Sam Kerr gonna bang in the goals for me at five side.
I mean, you've gone for one of the greatest women players we've ever seen in our lifetime. It's one of the facts that Chelsea have been so dominant because of Emma Hayes being a fantastic coach and Sam Kerr being literally the embodiment of Emma Hayes on the field as well. The fact that she's unrelenting, she's uncompromising, she just doesn't take no for an answer in terms of development. And the fact that she plays for Australia, but she's very proud of her Asian roots, makes it a lot more reassuring to see how well women's football will grow from the Asian community, because there's always been a stigma. You and I will know about Asian women playing sports or being involved in sports, and we're seeing it grow further than ever nowadays. And it's great to see people in the media, in journalism, in writing, in on the pitch, in coaching, and even little things of being like a trainer or being a doctor on the side of the pitch as well. It's great to see. We've seen that before with Crystal Palace, and we've seen that before at Aston Villa and Tottenham, respectively, which is great to see. But Sam Kerr is the embodiment of the future of football, in my opinion. Women's football is crazy to see how it's grown, and she's very much a poster woman for it, and she's unrelenting in what she's doing. So, annoyingly, she plays for Chelsea and she scores all the time against Manchester
And I
United,
just
and
I just don't think she'll join another WSL team. You know,
I don't see it.
there seems to be like between Tottenham, City, United, Arsenal. There's like interchanging. I think Sam Kerr is Chelsea, and then when she decides she's not Chelsea anymore, she's going to be Barca Femini,
Mm.
or she's going to be Lyon. She's just going to go to one of the giants and mash it up there again.
Maybe go to Bayern Munich and play with Kira Stanway as well. That'd be
Yeah, but I
crazy.
don't, but maybe she's not. Maybe she's not ready to go until she lifts the Champions League with Chelsea. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who
It'll
knows?
be a big decision for her as well. And again, she'll want to play at another World Cup going forward, which will be insane to see what she's got. So nicely done there. That's crazy because you've gone for a world-class striker. And because my co-hosts are Spurs fans, I'm gonna spite them by not playing Heung-min Son. I was teeing
You
you up to
are so
I
petty.
I was teeing you up to put Heung-min Son in because I was like I wanted an Arsenal fan to pick Heung-min Son and be like, oh yeah, he's one of the greatest
You know,
Asian players we've
I
ever
could
seen.
have, I could have battered you and gone for Park and Son just two in a row, and
Could have gone.
ended.
You could have gone for Nakata as well. Could have gone for
Yeah,
Kamada.
I was thinking of Shinsuke Nakamura at Celtic as well.
Woo! I
Yeah,
forgot about him.
I wanted to go for him. I'll never forget about him. The way he buried you guys in the Champions League, I'll never forget about him.
Great free kick as well. And he remember he did that in the last game of the season in the SPL and he won the league like
Yeah,
that, which is
uh,
crazy.
I was also thinking of who is the Japanese striker for Leicester in their
Shinji Okazaki.
Shinji Okazaki. I was thinking of him as well.
There's a funny meme I saw the other day. It's like when you ask your girl who's her favorite footballer, and she says no one can compare to Shinji Okazaki in the Leicester City title winning campaign. I'm like, that's how you know football when Shinji
Yeah,
Okazaki comes up in conversation,
that's it.
which is great. But yeah, for me personally, if I'm gonna go for my striker in my five-a-side up front, like I said, for part two, if Suki and Travis join for part two, fair enough, they can talk about humans on all they want, but I'm not going to do that, and Daniel's not going to do that either. So I'm very happy that we got the what's the term? We got the memo of not actually speaking about human
And
so
like what we should preface that with the fact that obviously he gets into any all-time Asian five-a-side 11.
I would say is
Five,
number one personally.
yeah, and that's the reason we exclude him. It's like almost like when we're talking about the best rappers in the world, or who are the best rappers of all time, and people say Tupac and Biggie, we're like, yeah, all right, we know that. Now move on. Or
Now
who are the
let's have
great
the debate. Let's have the
exactly
discussion.
like
Let's
who are
go
the
into it.
greatest football? Like we know Son is number one, and that is why we want to look outside that for our teams.
It's true. We know that because we're gonna have a bit of fun with this final pick. And for me personally, if I'm going for someone who, yeah, I'll give him a bit of love and a bit of credit. I'm gonna go for Sadar Azmoun as my striker, which is good. I could go for Mehdi Taremi, but there was a time
Editoremi.
when I went to the Dubai airport, coming back from India, there was an Iranian guy with an Iranian jersey, kit, everything, jacket on. And I walked up to him. I was like, "Excuse me, are you Mehdi Taremi?" And he was like, "No, I'm not. I play in the Olympics as like a weightlifter or something." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Sorry to disturb you." He's like, "No, it's fine. No worries." So my heart was broken by someone who's not Mehdi Taremi, who I thought was Mehdi Taremi, going to play for Iran after having a stopover in Dubai. So I'm gonna go for Sadar Azmoun as my striker, mostly because of his Bayern Leverkusen days, and I actually got to watch him play at Bayern Leverkusen last season, I think, and
Oh wow.
I think Iran is an up and coming footballing nation. We've seen it a few times at the World Cups, and we've seen them
I
with
don't know
some
if
very
they're
good
up and
players.
I don't know if they're up and coming. I think they're pretty well established. I think I would call them Asian football giants.
They definitely
Um,
are Asian football
they,
giants.
I
I would
mean,
agree.
we can't forget as well. Like they've got a history of. I think they had back-to-back group stage appearances versus Lionel Messi and put in unbelievable performances until like a Messi clutch moment. And
2014 in Brazil. I remember
yeah,
that like yesterday.
and Carlos Queiroz used to manage them as well. So no, I think Iran have got a good foundation for what they want to do. I think they've got players scattered around, like to have players that are playing for Porto and Roma. You had Jahan Baksh who's playing for
Well
PSV.
pronounced. Well pronounced. I was
Yeah,
never gonna get that. He used to play at Brighton, didn't he?
yeah. So now he's at PSV, I believe.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever do your hair like they did in the 2018 World Cup when they had it all slicked back and they're looking all
Not at all.
fancy?
Not at all. That's
No,
for like I'm a tapered skin fade man. I ain't good looking enough to go for that one. But
I
them boys,
disagree on that one.
them
Pause.
boys are good. Stop flirting with me, man. Yeah. They're good looking boys, and they've got the strong Persian features. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think they just need to stick with what they're doing and keep developing talents that play in big leagues like that. And hopefully, the disparity between the rest of the team and the star players will become smaller and smaller. And then we can finally see Iran kind of getting out of group stages. Like when we played them, I was in the stadium when we played when England played Iran,
Mm.
and I didn't have when we beat them 6-1 before the game. I didn't have this feeling, oh, guaranteed 3 points in the bag. Like Iran have a temperament and like a kind of an energy and an intensity where they can cause trouble. Taremi scored on that day as well. So yeah, man, credit to Iran for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great to see that with Iran as well. They've got so much more going for them going forward as well. But one striker I wanted to put in to this team, but I've not seen him play. I just know that he's a Indian football icon as well. I was gonna put
Sunil
Sunil
Chetri.
Chetri as well. I was gonna put him in, but I was like, I've not seen him play, so I don't want
Shout out my boy Arjun. He filmed a documentary with Sunil Chetri, and
no way.
Sunil Chetri went, "Hi, I'm Sunil Chetri. I think he plays for Bangalore Blasters or something."
Yeah, he does. He's still
Yeah,
playing. He's got a long career, man.
he goes Bangalore Blasters and India national team, and then he
Mm.
stops the camera and goes, "Can I do that again?" And then they did it again. He goes, "Hi, I'm Sunil Chetri, India national team, and I play for Bangalore Blasters." So that says a lot about him. He's in love with playing for the India national team. He's so full of pride. He's a national icon, a sporting hero, and I believe he had trials at QPR.
And he called them QPR Rangers.
Yeah, he had trials at QPR. That would have been incredible. And I think he was also in Portugal, Sporting Lisbon's B team.
Mm.
He had a stint with them as well. So would have been amazing to see him play over here, but an icon for India for sure.
Yeah, exactly. He had one game in the USA for Kansas City Wizards, and again, he just ended up going back to the subcontinent as well. But again, the fact that he's had such a long career, an inspiring career for a lot of kids around India to not just go into cricket or to hockey, but to football as well. And now a lot of my friends from India are then saying football's one of the most growing sports in the country, let alone cricket. And when I went to India, fortunately in the summer, everyone's just talking about football, football, football. And I'm loving it. It's great, but we have to see more from that from our home country of India as well, which would be great. And my mother-in-law is always going on about you need to come back to India and start coaching people. And I'm like, I do, but I need to learn how to speak Gujarati and Hindi properly as well. It needs to be done. I need to get that on my CV, which would be good fun indeed. But yeah, this was very fun because we got to go through a lot of different players from different nationalities, and we were also hyping up actual Asian people as opposed to Australian and New Zealand players. Sorry, Ryan Nelson, you don't make the cut for my centre back
Mm,
in this list as well. Black Women Rovers legend. Right then, before we wrap up, Mr. Khan, do tell me your all-time Asian five-a-side, typically.
so in goal, in between the sticks, we have Ali Al Habsi
Jeez.
protecting him at the back. We have the Guna Samurai Takahiro Tomiyasu. Then in front of him, to the left, we have the creative wizard for Derby County women, Kira Rai. Then on the right, we have Otis Khan, Pakistan star boy. And up top, we've capped it all off with a bona fide world superstar, Samantha Kerr.
I think you beat me with this one. It's crazy. Yeah, in goal, I've gone for Japanese goalkeeping hero Gonda, who, like I said, I want to see more from him in domestic football, but fantastic at World Cups from what I've seen. At the back, we've got Kim Min Jae. So Kim Min Jae versus Samantha Coe will be a tough battle for anyone
Oof.
to see, as well. One of my favorite centre backs right now in Europe. Midfield, going for someone who I don't know, he just brought joy to my heart just watching him run onto the pitch at Old Trafford as a sub appearance. Zidane Iqbal, and the fact that is my wife's first ever Manchester United game to watch Man United versus Young Boys, and she saw a British Pakistani boy come onto the pitch and play football. I thought that's quite iconic for
That
me
was
to.
sick.
I planned it definitely as well. Should have taken it to a better game, but I didn't. Then on the wing, one of my favorite Asian players of all time. Can't do an Asian draft five-a-side without him. Ji-Sun Park, one of my favorite players, and should really have dyed my head red back in the day like he did once upon a time as well. And then up front, one of my favorite underrated strikers and someone who's done very well for Iran over the years. We're going to go for Sadar Azmoun. Sorry, Mehdi Taremi, but if you didn't have a look-alike in the Dubai airport who is also an athlete, I may have gone for you. But I'll be honest with you, I think Azmoun would be better on a five-a-side pitch with his agility, with the way that he's
Azmoun
playing.
would be sensational, but
Mm,
Taremi would be licking off shots from anywhere on the pitch and
it's
burying
true.
them. But yeah, Azmoun baller.
On those smaller goals as well, it'll be very
Hmm.
difficult, which would be good. Can't really be doing. When you play five aside, do you play with the head limit as well? You can't. The ball
Not at
can't be.
all. Not
That's
at
fine.
all.
So if we were playing without the head limit as well, then Taremi's just doing long ball football as well.
That head limit thing is such a goody two shoes thing. Like,
I hate it. It's
bro,
awful.
we are paying £9 to be on this pitch, and you want to like do the stupid keep it on the floor shit.
No,
Like,
we don't run this game. Don't run
bro,
it like
we
that.
lick it in the air. We chip people. We score headers.
Needs to be done because I'm looking at it and I'm just looking at how people are like, oh no, it's gone over shoulder height. I'm like, blood, play the game.
Yeah.
Play.
Oh
Very
man.
silly as well.
Yeah.
All right, then, before we wrap it up, I want to get your predictions for the Asia Cup. Because literally, Asia Cup is literally in January coming up. We've got Japan who are looking like big favorites. Qatar won it last time as well, which was crazy to see. South Korea
That
also.
was a ridiculous situation. Qatar winning
That looked like match fixing to me because we expected more things from them
that.
going forward.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, they just didn't do anything in the World Cup. But yeah, they've got what, 4 or 5 different groups as well. So Saudi Arabia are looking good, South Korea, Japan, of course, Iran, and Australia for some reason are in there. Don't get it. India are in Australia's group, so it could be like a cricket revenge for them as well. Australia beating India, and obviously Qatar and Lebanon are in Group A. But is there
We
anyone that's
can't
kind of
we can't forget that Palestine are also in the tournament,
can't
and
forget at all?
they're going to be coming up against Iran, and they're going to be coming up against who else is in the group? The
Hong
UAE,
Kong,
Hong Kong. So I'm hoping for some big performances there. I'm hoping for an opportunity for Palestine to announce itself on the world stage in football in some sort of capacity, however that may
definitely.
be. Um, and yeah, but I can't get past the fact that once we get down to the business end, South Korea, Iran, um, Japan will start to kind of strut their stuff. Even Saudi, to be honest, even
That'd be cool
Saudi,
to see Saudi
even
do it.
Saudi in a hot run of form, putting in some good performances. So maybe this could be their year as well. But if I had to pick one, South Korea, it's hard to look past.
Nicely done. I'm gonna have to go for Japan. I think they've got that midfield trio of Kamada, Minamino, and Mitoma as well. That's looking
Oof.
absolutely fantastic. And surprisingly, neither of us put Minamino or Mitoma in it. Well, more surprising Mitoma, I would say. But again, we're not here for the best of Asian footballers. I'll be on part 2 later on in the podcast as well. But realistically speaking, though, it's going to be a fun Asia Games as well. And I think more people need to be a bit more excited about the talents that come out of Asian football, especially Asian people. Not Australian people, but again, Australia make it because no one else is in their side of the world as well, which ain't great. But again, I still don't agree with the fact that Australia are in the Asia Games. But I do agree with what I do agree with was this is a fantastic podcast, a great way of looking back at some of the former Asian players that we've seen and some of the bright young talents that we've got coming through football in both the men's game and the women's game as well. And that is a big thanks to Mr. Daniyal Khan, who is doing fantastic work outside of this podcast and doing fantastic work coming up in 2024. Can we get a teaser trailer for what's coming up in 2024 from yourself, Daniel Khan?
Oof. A lot of conversations happening. No here we goes just yet, but
Ooh,
when the time is right, you guys will be the first to know, of course.
I'm looking forward to that exclusive, which would be good fun indeed. But yeah, everyone, thank you very much for listening. It's been fantastic to get through this Asian Cup topic of conversation, which would be great fun indeed. If we do a part 2, if we should do a part 2 for this one coming up, stick around for it. If not, Daniel Khan, thank you very much for your time today. Enjoy your time going forward in 2024, and hopefully we get to see each other soon, which would be great fun.
Peace.
Take care. Nicely done.